I've started watching Futurama again because it's all on Amazon Prime. It's like I just watched it from like I started watching it I think like 2 days ago. I'm already at the end of season 2 just because it's just so easy to just have on.
So good.
I love Futurama.
I
Go on.
I'm sorry, it's just that I think it is the Lucy Liu episode where she's like a robot, and because Fry's like he wants a girlfriend and he makes Lucy Liu a robot girlfriend, and at the very end of the episode when she's like about to die or whatever, sorry, spoilers, but she goes, I'll never forget you, Fry. Memory deleted. I was like, for God's sake.
Hello and welcome to the SlapDuck podcast. I'm your host, Sully Iqbal, aka also the host of Nappy Boy Radio Live. We love rap music. In the red room, I'm joined by...
That's me.
Yeah.
Yes.
George Gessie, aka... I can't think of one.
And in the white room, I'm joined by...
Lucas Sheehan, aka not a fan of throat singing. After that, thanks. George.
What do you mean?
What do I mean?
And you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, anywhere you can find good podcasts. And you can also find us on radiohaver.com at 6 p.m. UK time. And you can also find us at slapduck.com, where you can also send us messages and stuff and everything else. And to preface my AKA, that is the opening to Kiss Kiss by Chris Brown featuring T-Pain.
Wow. Now, that was something I did not expect.
No, I was not expecting a Chris Brown drop on this.
Listen,
We've famously not been a fan
I don't like
of him.
Chris Brown, but the Nappy Boy Radio Live part is T-Pain, so
Okay.
I think it's T-Pain. As in, I think T-Pain's in that song.
Fingers crossed it's T-Pain.
Yeah, it is T-Pain.
Kind of reminds me of the beginning of the what song is it? Kick in the Door by Biggie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm Trevin Jones and my
More
name is
rap
Shay.
songs.
I'm from New Rochelle. Why are you so mad?
All rap songs need stuff like that these days.
So good. Big fan.
I love those. Just I don't like them when they're in a song because if you want to just select the song, you can just like it kind of interrupts it.
Yeah.
But I like in between songs when you get those little kind
Yeah.
of skits in albums.
Interludes,
They're really
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, big fan of that.
Kanye used to do this all. He would like put 3 in his albums. It was great.
Wasn't there one with Chris Rock was in one of them? Was it for a Kanye album?
That was for a Kanye song.
Songs.
That was shit. It's from
You mentioned it to me a while back.
It's from My Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay.
I don't remember the song name.
I'm sorry if you just search
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock Kanye, you'll find it,
Yeah.
listeners. But yeah, I quite like it because at the end of like in the Queens of the Stone Age songs for the deaf, at the end of No One Knows, there's this Spanish radio interlude that goes into the next song. But annoyingly, it's at the actual end of the song rather than like this little middle section. So if you've got like an Apple playlist playing, you get this weird
Spanish
Mexican intro into the next song on the playlist, which is really weird.
And like the next song is Elton John's. Like, that doesn't make sense.
It's like I don't know if you guys have listened to Joyner Lucas.
Yeah, a bit of it.
A little bit.
Simon.
In his latest album, ADHD, he's got skits in his album. Didn't realize how this would become a topic, but this is really fun. Yeah, and in his newest album, ADHD, you've got a Chris Rock one and a Kevin Hart one.
That's so good.
That's
And
mad.
the Kevin Hart, I like Kevin Hart, man. He does make me laugh. I'm not.
I've warmed up to him.
Yeah,
I don't mind him.
I like his work ethic more than I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
just-
definitely got that work ethic of like, I'm going to do everything and anything while I can to keep this going, which is great. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the work ethic that I think a lot of people need to have, especially in that kind of industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That
agree.
being said, like every time I watch his stand up, I'm just kind of like, if it was so overproduced that I'm lost. I don't get that funny from it. I get this like, here's a set piece that's been building up for 20 minutes.
Like,
Okay, fine.
He was on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about his like when he broke his back, like in that car accident and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And his mindset now is very, very cool. I think that's probably the only way I can put it. Is it's such a cool, like, I've now realized what the most important thing in my life is.
Mm.
I used to work all the time, every day, like always on the grind. But now, when I get the chance, I'm going to fully enjoy spending time with my family as much as possible. They are the priority. I was like, mate, that's good, bro. Like, give me more of that. I like that about you, Kevin Hart.
That's when I like Kevin Hart the most, is when he's just being honest and frank and kind of chatting with people about that kind of stuff. Because it's great hearing that from people like him.
It's good to see he's grown, it seems. I remember we discussed last year his when he was in that interview with Lil Nas X, where in the interview it felt like he was being a little bit not confrontational with Lil Nas, because when he came out as being gay, but then it seemed after that he's definitely grown as a person. Which I guess it's never too late to grow.
No, I don't think it's ever too late to grow. No. But yeah, do you think it's like because he's been called out on a few things, he's kind of realized, okay, I need to actually kind of mature up and realize what I've been doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of comedians,
yes, good
Sully,
segue.
I'm going to pass over to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm actually going to pass over to Luca because this topic was Luca's idea.
Okay,
to discuss. So
so yesterday I was kind of like browsing online and I saw that Dave Chappelle dropped. It's hard to call it a special, but he dropped I guess like a bit of stand up. I'd say it with quotation marks. On not actually on Netflix itself, but Netflix's YouTube channel. Which is an interesting way of doing it, because I think he's got a deal with Netflix that he's doing a certain amount of stand ups that get distributed on them, because he made a massive monetary deal with them, which like good on him. But yeah, so this was dropped on Netflix's channel and it's called 8 minutes 46, which I think at this point, if anyone listening doesn't get the significance of that number, they've probably been living under a bit of a rock, but that was the amount of time that the police was kneeling on the neck of George Floyd. And that's what this kind of bit of stand-up was about. It was, I wouldn't say it's funny. It had a couple of moments where you kind of chuckled, but it's the sort of thing that like you chuckled because if you didn't, you'd cry kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt through the whole thing.
But I thought it was absolutely fantastic and incredibly powerful. And what he came out saying felt super honest, very frank, and it was kind of the approach that I wish more celebrities had, which like that was kind of a big component of it. It was like people were asking him, why hasn't he come out and kind of given his opinion on everything that's going on? He's like, firstly, I've been talking about this kind of shit for years. And secondly, this is not the time for celebrities to kind of use as a platform. It's the people are talking on this, and kind of dive more into that. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I watched it a couple hours after sending it to you guys, and like literally this morning I came downstairs, and weirdly my parents watched a movie because Netflix, just a little side tangent, has got now a Black Lives Matter kind of playlist that they've curated and content. So my parents I watched a movie last night and said it was absolutely fantastic. It's called I believe it's called American Son. It's like apparently it's like all set in one room at a police station, and it's about this interracial couple that's waiting to hear back about their son in this kind of really tense kind of thing. So I'm gonna watch that tonight. But yeah, so they came down and told me about that. I was kind of like, actually, and I told them about this, so they're gonna watch that tonight while I'm watching this. Sorry, going back to the Dave Chappelle thing. Very good. I am very. It was. I wasn't really sure how I felt after it. If it was honest, it was quite heavy for something that. Yeah. Hearing speaking about.
I mean, I was telling George when he went to get a drink that I was gonna watch it again before watching this, but I was like, I would be way too
down
emotional. I think if I watch it again, I'll cry.
Yeah.
I was close the first time, but like you said, he put in these little bits of levity,
just to like, so it kept you on the cusp without kind of pushing to. You needed those almost moments of levity to just hammer home the serious points.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, no.
You know, Dave Chappelle is, in my personal opinion, I think he's one of the greatest comedians of all time.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
He's incredible. And the thing I think, what no other comedian has this ability to set up a story for like 5 or 10 minutes and then hit you with the punchline and be like, oh, and everyone laughs and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No other comedian can do that except for him. Like, have you guys watched all of his specials and stuff?
Yeah, every single one.
I've watched a few. I watched the most recent Netflix one, and there was another one I've watched beforehand.
Okay.
Because he only really did like 1 or 2 actual specials before kind of going dark for ages, and then came back on Netflix and has dropped a few. I've loved every single one of them except for probably the most recent one that he dropped on Netflix. It didn't kind of resonate with me. And I think that was a kind of a consensus that a lot of people had. I still thought it was good, but I just personally I preferred pretty much all the other ones that he did over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was something that I found very poignant. When I was at work, actually maybe I shouldn't say that. No, I'm going to say it. When I was at work, work was quite slow. There wasn't a lot of work to do. So, and when I work, I tend to listen to music or something.
Yeah.
Maybe jump that did. Sorry, I think somebody just went into a different room. My bad. Yeah, when I was at work, there wasn't a lot of work to do. And I usually listen to music while I, work on stuff. But this time I was like listening to Dave Chappelle. And specifically, I went on like a massive YouTube binge of all of his stand-up stuff. And I ended up on one, which was him accepting, I think it was the Kennedy Award. He accepted the Kennedy Award and he made a speech about it. And his mom was there. Everybody was there. Like every famous person every black famous person was there. And his mom was still is. Oh, actually, no, she probably retired. But she's I think she's a professor at a university that she specializes in Black and African studies and stuff.
Okay.
So she knows about like all the human rights, civil rights stuff, and she taught all of that to Dave Chappelle. And she said that in the thing, well, Dave was kind of speaking on behalf of her because she was there.
Yeah.
Apparently, she said to him that you should be a griot. And I don't know if you guys know what a griot is.
No, I don't.
It's a keeper of stories, specifically, I think, to like an African kind of what's the word? Origin.
Okay.
Where it's like the person in the village would keep all the stories of the town. And, if a griot dies, it's essentially like a library being burned down.
Okay.
It's that kind of level.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably the best description for Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Because in all of his stand-up, especially the most recent ones, he speaks about Iceberg Slim and, the being a pimp and all this sort of stuff and how that all goes. And he spoke about Emmett Till. Yeah. And I was just glued to the screen. I was like, there's no, like, it's so hard to make a joke out of this topic because it's so serious.
Yeah.
It should be taken seriously as well. And he doesn't shy from that. He has such a way with words and such a way with storytelling that I want to watch him forever.
Yeah.
Like even like in this 8 minutes 46 thing, I watched it on my iPad. I was literally glued to my iPad because he's one of the only people where I want to hear what he has to say.
Yes.
Regardless of what it is. If he had a podcast, it would be insane.
Yeah.
Dude. Right. Anytime I've actually heard him on a podcast, which isn't often, it's the sort of thing that you just kind of want to keep listening to forever. Like this 8 minutes 46, sorry, was only about 27 minutes long. I was like, it could have been double the amount of time and I wouldn't have kind of moved. I would have just like,
He could have gone for hours.
But I also think it's poignant that he didn't. It was concise about what he said and to the point. He didn't ramble on. It was very much, this is the current situation. This is how I feel about it. This is kind of my view and what should happen. And it wasn't playing sides. It was kind of literally like, this should happen. Like, it didn't feel like he was sitting on the fence at all.
No.
Which was, it's nice hearing someone actually give their proper opinion and not just be like, yeah, this is great, and actually going kind of a bit deeper with it.
It's I saw a tweet afterwards about it, and I saw it's a big person, so I don't remember who tweeted it. I think it was retweeted by MLK's daughter because I follow her.
Okay.
Someone tweeted, I used to think Dave Chappelle was the next Richard Pryor, but now I think he's the next MLK.
Wow.
And it's the and look, no one's gonna be the next MLK. You can't be the next MLK. But I think it really showed how powerful Dave Chappelle's speaking and storytelling is. That for 27 minutes, I didn't look at my phone once.
Yeah.
I was just glued to that screen. You could tell it wasn't something that he had over prepared. He had his notes with him, it seemed.
He never looked at it once, though. He had this kind of book that he just kind of dropped after a while.
He would glance and put it down. And even, I remember I was someone who used to want to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I remember.
Maybe I'll be one. Who knows?
I might do it if I have time,
Yeah,
piss in it.
But I mean, I remember I used to listen to a lot of comedy albums because that's how you used to consume it.
I used to as well.
Come out on CDs. And I mean, you can listen to this and get the effect of it as well. But seeing his body language when he stood, when he started talking about Eric Garner, sorry, and he took out a cigarette to smoke, and it's like, on the one hand, it felt like, okay, he's doing that on purpose to put across this thing, but also it's like, I don't think he is. I think he was just genuinely like, I need to smoke right now because of everything. And it was just...
Yeah. I think part of it was that, but also part of it is he knows that doing something like that and letting those words kind of breathe, almost kind of like him putting out a cigarette and trying to light it is almost kind of like putting a bullet point, and then the next sentence trying to light it again, another bullet point. It's kind of hammering home that kind of point.
Yeah.
And allowing the audience to kind of just that brief moment to kind of think over what he's just said before the next point comes in, and think over it before the next one comes in. And yeah, it's like that sort of stand-up, that sort of kind of speaking in general. Because it's hard to call this stand-up really. It's more like, I don't want to use the word sermon because it's not a sermon either, but it's more like
it's a speech.
A speech, yeah. And yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And it's, I messaged in one of our other chats today that it's pretty much essential viewing for what's going on at the moment. And I think it is essential viewing, like
easily.
And you don't have to pay anything. It's on YouTube. It's free. Just all it is 27 minutes of your time. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna sit my mum down and make her watch it with me. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not moving on from it, but I know we've been talking a lot about Dave Chappelle and about his delivery and stuff, but the content of the speech was just it was incredible. All the things he spoke about, there were things he spoke about I didn't know. And same. Obviously I know we have that slight being removed because we don't live in America, and only the really big things that happen will come here. Or I follow Philip DeFranco and I get US news through him.
Right.
But just everything he spoke about, like, God, I've forgotten a lot of the names.
Yeah, I've forgotten a lot of the names as well, which I definitely gonna watch this again. But the point that he made of, like, he took kind of the police officer analogy of this officer kind of went around after witnessing someone, like his fellow officer, kind of beating someone.
Yeah, and then he got fired.
He got fired, and kind of as a military man seemed to take it upon himself to go around and somewhat take
frontier justice.
Frontier justice. Yeah. Probably not the right way of doing it, but he went around and killed a good few police officers, and I think Dave also said that he killed one of their daughters or something in their house. It sounds very much in this like very brutal, somewhat murderous vigilante way of kind of getting justice. And the police responded when once they tracked him down, 400 police officers turned up, and essentially the middle of Godfathered him, where they just kind of plugged him with bullets.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, so do you see how that's the reaction that the police made when one of their own died? What you're seeing at the moment is the reaction that the people are taking when one of their own gets killed like this. How do you not understand the parallels there?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was incredibly kind of put it in the parallel that like, someone from like the police kind of side of it is like, at the moment there is kind of that divide of, you're seeing a lot of police brutality at these protests. It's kind of like you flip it on its head, the police would react the exact same way and worse. So why are you surprised that this is how people are acting? And they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get kind of angry now.
Please go for it.
Because it's something that really has got me angry. I think I'm like a week or two ago. So he talks about Laura Ingraham. She's a Fox anchor.
Yeah.
And I don't know when she said it to LeBron. I don't think it was around this. It was about a previous incident.
That was a while back. Yeah.
It was a while back. And it was LeBron was talking out about injustice towards black people. And she said, shut up, LeBron, shut up and dribble. What makes me really angry is about 2 weeks ago, there's a quarterback for the Saints called Drew Brees. Drew Brees came out and was like, I can't stand for anyone disrespecting the US flag by kneeling. Okay, and Laura Ingraham said, he's a human being, he has the right to say that. And it's that difference that Drew Brees is a white man who was talking about the US flag, which, okay, I'm going to go into politics and stuff right now. The flag desecration in the United States is protected under the Constitution. It's protected under, I don't remember which amendment, it might be the first. There were 2 cases about it. There was Texas versus Johnson, I think, and I think Eichmann versus the United States, where the Supreme Court in both cases ruled burning flags was protected by the Constitution. I'm not 100% sure I got the names right there. But so then Drew Brees, in my opinion, I'm not a judge or anything. In my opinion, Drew Brees saying the likes of Colin Kaepernick and Laura Ingraham saying the likes of Colin Kaepernick, the likes of LeBron James speaking out about injustice, which in their opinion disrespects the US flag, is more American than the likes of Laura Ingraham and Drew Brees saying you're not allowed to kneel to protest against police brutality. And just the fact that a black man, LeBron James, who, by all indications, is meant to be an amazing human being, is told to shut up and dribble when Drew Brees is allowed to say whatever he wants because it fits a certain narrative and because he's a white man at the end of the day. And Drew Brees came out and he was like, okay, I've learned the errors of my way. He said he didn't understand what kneeling for the flag meant. He thought it meant people, that it feels like a cop out.
Yeah. Massive cop
he was
out.
saying, oh, I didn't know what it meant. I thought it just meant disrespect. And he had fellow players come out and be like, I loved you. You were my friend. You were like a brother to me. But after this, nothing like hate. I can't with you. You don't understand the pain we're going through. And we don't want you to feel that pain. We don't want anyone to feel that pain, but like at least understand what we are going through. And I think that's, and like David Chappelle wrapped up so fantastically where he just called Laura Ingraham the C word.
Yeah.
Because through all of this, she has faced no consequences from Fox, and don't get me started on Fox. But yeah, I think I kind of went off on a big tangent there, but
dude, go for it.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Laura
Ingraham is a cunt.
Whoa, whoa! We need a duck sound. No,
yeah, put a duck there.
No, it's hard to. I know that a lot of that sounded like a cop out from their point of view of like, oh, I didn't understand what the kneeling at the flag meant, all that kind of shit. It's kind of like,
it's like just
off.
listen, man. Just look around you.
That's it.
If you read one article about it, you would have known what it meant. Like, there's no way you didn't know what that meant unless you were almost purposefully ignorant on it.
As for one thing, I mean, I'm not American, obviously. I'm a British lad, absolute legend, right?
Oh, that you are.
But I don't feel like Colin Kaepernick was disrespecting the flag either.
No,
he knelt instead of just like, you know, hand on your heart kind of thing and looking at it. It's like it's not like he's not like he's burning it down every single like football game, is he? He's literally just been like, this is my protest. I'm not disrespecting anything. Yeah, I'm standing up by kneeling. You know,
and there is something. It's something that you see, and I don't know if this is just my viewpoint on it or not. So you guys let me know. But I find that with a lot of America, the Americans are incredibly patriotic about their own country to a degree where like they almost don't see fault with it. So when someone does something like this, it's kind of like, how dare you disrespect our flag and our country? And like,
I don't think it's just an American thing.
No,
there are a lot of people here that are just like that, like
big time. But
I'm not going to divulge.
No, but I think it's just because I see it in the media and a lot of the movies and music you listen to does come from America. You see it. You see movies do it all the time, like Independence Day. I like Independence Day enough, but like the Americans saving the world. It's not just America that's in the world. Even in the Independence Day sequel, which is god awful.
Oh, it's the amazing film.
Like they got this like whole kind of cast from around the world, yet America still saves the day. You're like, stop with this.
China contributes. Because China also paid for
some of the movie.
So China has to contribute. It's in the contract.
Yeah, that's literally how you show it in Chinese cinema. Is you have to show China in good light, which is, don't get me started on that. Fuck, you know.
I was going to say, do you know where else is kind of like the US, Canada?
Is it? I don't see a lot about Canada, so I don't. Really
I mean, as you both know, I used to date a Canadian girl, and she would say that at school they would like, I don't know if it was every morning or at least once a week, they would stand and like listen to the national anthem the flag and all that stuff, and I'm like,
God damn,
what? That feels so weird.
Didn't you guys like murder a whole bunch of First Nations people?
Yeah.
Do they still not have rights, isn't it? Oh, cool. Nice.
Fucking hell. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's just the way I am or the cynical side of me, but I don't get the whole patriotism thing. Like, I can look at England and say, like, there's some good shit, there is some very bad shit. I've never been, like, blind to the fact that we have some bad shit in this country. And people that you see that are super patriotic that tend to be blind to the shit that's gone on in their country's histories. It kind of baffles me. It's like, what are they teaching you in school? Are they teaching you to be blind?
That's what they teach us, though.
It's fucked up.
They whitewash our history.
Like, weirdly enough, like I don't know if it was just my school or maybe I just read more into it than I was meant to, but I felt like when we were learning about a lot of the stuff in my high school, we learned about some of the shit that England did as well, which was... I liked the fact that we learned that. None of it came up in the test, so it probably wasn't part of the curriculum. It was just the teachers going, you need to know this shit as well, for context.
It's the teachers.
Yeah. I will say at my school, out of all the different things, like the history department specifically had fucking brilliant teachers and ones that kind of really stood up for showing all of history, not just kind of what we were meant to learn.
You know, like, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or if I just said it to you guys off air, but I do believe that every country should teach their students the country's failings.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has to like, even like I had a Welsh girlfriend and she told me about some of the shit that England did to Wales. And I was like, yeah, really? Like, and you know, a lot of Welsh people think that, you know, it's common knowledge now that the Welsh people hate English people. It's like, oh, you know, people are like, it's just a rugby rivalry. And I'm like, no, I get that. I get that there's a rugby rivalry there. Same with Scotland. But we fuck Scotland as well.
Yeah. There's a reason that they hate trying to get their independence.
There's a reason. And anybody who's from England and goes into Wales and they're like, oh, they're really rude to me, or like they're really upset with us, or it's like, just look back. Like, not even, I think maybe even like 50 years.
It's not
less
long.
than that.
Margaret Thatcher absolutely fucked Wales.
Just just come on, man. And we should learn that stuff. We should know about that stuff. I mean, put it this way: a lot of, like in the news, Edward Colston statue in Bristol.
Yes, fuck it.
He got ripped down. Yes, he did a lot of stuff for Bristol, but he made his money from the slave trade, which is BS, right?
Oh, real quick, one of the best responses I saw for this is I think they had like an ex-NBA player who's now a psychologist or a therapist or something.
Oh, nice.
On the BBC talking about this, or is Good Morning Britain, or one of those things. And it's like, he was speaking on like behalf of himself, who is a black man. He said, I'm a very large black man and I see this kind of stuff going around. And then they asked him about, what do you think about the tearing down? He's kind of like, it'd be nice if we could have recycled it. And it's kind of like, that was the perfect response of like, yeah.
That's good, man.
It's such a good response. I loved it.
But yeah, what, like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, growing up in Birmingham, I had no idea who Edward Colston was.
Neither did I.
And now I know, like, oh, he was, he made his money from the slave trade. That's not cool. And now there's like a national effort to be like, there's a lot of like racist statues in the UK.
Yeah.
And I'm sat in my living room watching the news, like, I had no idea that this guy was this. I had no idea that this was this. I had no idea. And I'm like, why do I have no idea? Why was I not shown this in school? Why was this not a part? I mean, maybe not so much the statues, but
the people.
Actually, maybe the statues, because you have a statue to honor someone.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like,
why are you honoring them?
We should know the people we're honoring.
Yeah, I mean, look, there were so many fantastic people who we could probably put on a statue. I mean, I don't know if we have any statues of Darwin, although I do need to look into what he thought of.
No, we do.
People.
There's one in the Natural History Museum, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is an awesome place, guys.
I love the history.
Totally go there.
I need to go again. I've not been in ages.
very cool.
There was the lady who used to be on the £5 note before Churchill, and let's not talk about Churchill.
Oh, yeah, no.
Actually, no. Part of me kind of does want to bring that up, and I know this sounds like this could get very topical and stuff, but
do it.
Fuck it, we are.
Do it.
All right. So when we're talking about Churchill in schools, we say he was a great man. He saved us during the war. He led us. Kind of the reason we are like this. Yada yada yada. You don't really learn about the bad side of things, and we should, right?
Yep.
I see. This is something that I think should be taught in history. It's kind of like you can teach people about why they're seen as a good figure, but also teach them everything about the person, show the good and the bad and the really bad if there is really bad. Because I think people going into some, you hear a lot of people saying like, oh, Churchill saved us from the Nazis. And you're like, and the rest? Like, there's more to the guy than just that period.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is some people, Tommy Robinson, say Churchill single-handedly won us that war.
Fuck off.
And then I'm like, hey, Tommy, have you heard of a guy called Joseph Stalin? Have you heard of the Red Army that steamrolled from almost losing the war into Berlin? And if he wanted to, he really could have just kept on. I remember learning about this in school and reading books about it.
Yep.
He could have just kept on going. He could have taken France, Spain. He could have taken the UK with ease because all the allies were just bare bones. And Stalin was like, listen, we have like millions of you. If one of you die, pick up a rifle.
Yeah.
So true.
But it is so true. Like you learn
and Stalin was truly an evil man. Yeah, no doubt about it. And which is why de-Stalinization happened.
Yeah, because it wasn't Stalin. It was like there's so many dictators out there that you only hear the name of, and you're like Hitler was a terrible dictator, but you don't hear about all these other ones because rather than going around the world and killing a bunch of other people, they just fucking
killed their own folks.
So no one outside those countries gave a shit, and we're not taught that kind of stuff. It's like, fuck, we should learn that. At the moment, we're still in the EU. We should learn about European history. Fucking hell.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm going to list off the bad things I think Churchill did. And look, and I'm going to preface this with saying, I personally don't like there being a statue of Winston Churchill.
Okay.
However, I fully understand why there was a statue of Winston Churchill. I don't think the statue should come down. I think it should stay there because he was a good war leader. He did galvanize the country and the country got behind him. He's a shit politician, which is why he was voted out at the end of the war. He was also a really bad Navy commander in World War One. But okay, and obviously I don't speak for either of you, and I don't speak for the podcast as a whole. This is my feelings. He called Indians savage, a savage people with a savage religion. He said, I don't remember the exact quote. It was something like essentially talking about Africa, Australia, and America. And he said that the greater race has, I don't feel bad that now the greater race has taken over these countries.
Jesus.
Talking about white people. He was a white supremacist.
Fuck off. Fucking hell.
Which like there's, it was like 60 years ago. Racism was okay. There's like racism and then there's white supremacy.
Yeah, that's it's like next level racism.
He was all for using chemical warfare against Kurdish and Afghan people in what is now like Afghanistan. And chemical warfare is tear gas now.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Like, America's
wasn't
using it
mustard
on
gas.
its own people at this
Yeah.
point. America
Which is
chemical
which you're not
warfare.
allowed to do in war.
No.
You're not allowed to use tear gas.
But you can do it to your own people, apparently. America. Sorry.
Which we do sell some of that to them.
Yeah, we do. We're making money off of this, just to let you know.
Make sure you write to your MP. Okay, this is contentious as well.
Okay.
He played a heavy hand in starting the Bengal famine, which killed up to 3 to 4 million Indians during World War II.
Shit.
He took the food in the Bengal, which was at that point West India, and he was like, hey, this food, we don't want the Japanese getting it, so we're gonna take all the food you guys take. We're gonna give some of it to the Indian auxiliary forces fighting in Burma. We're gonna take some of it and send it to Greece. For some reason, there was no fighting in Greece at the time, and then the rest of it, you guys can have a bit, and then we're gonna destroy it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So, because we don't want the Japanese getting it, albeit partly the Japanese did destroy some of the ships transporting the food. There's that. There was aid. Australia offered aid. Churchill was like, nah, mate, it's fine. Send it to the Middle East, send it to other parts. Don't send it to India. British people, the British leadership wrote and begged him, dude, we need food. Like, everyone is dying. There will be more uprisings. And I remember one of his things he said was, well, it's fine. They breed like rabbits. And also he said he was upset that although there was a famine, Mahatma Gandhi was still alive. And look,
Fucking hell, man.
being partly of Indian descent, Gandhi is a massive thing to that country's history, but also he's a massive piece of shit as well. Like, he is a massive fucking racist as well.
Are you calling out Gandhi as well?
Yeah, Gandhi can fuck off too.
Well,
some of the stuff he said about black people, dude, he deserves it.
goddamn.
Okay. I didn't expect the SlapDuck podcast to be this heavy.
I'm sorry.
today.
No,
I
neither
kind
did
of-
I. I was going in with a bit
this
of
is-
like jovial shit. It's like, all right, after
This
the
is-
Dave Chappelle stuff, let's get happy. Nope,
Nah,
we've done the
this
other
was
opposite.
me. Sorry, that was all me.
No, but like
Um,
something that I've been kind of, me and my parents were talking about off the back of like the statue being tore down, like the graffiti on Churchill's. Do we think that like these statues should almost kind of be moved into kind of a museum, teaching people, essentially teaching like new generations about both the good and bad of what was done in the past, show them both sides of the story so they understand that like these people helped Britain become what it is, but this is the damage that they did and the shit that they did along the way to the rest of the world, and this is why we are who we are at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah, without.
I'm
doubt.
sorry, I'm railroading the podcast.
Dude,
No, it's okay.
mate, if you're passionate, talk.
Yeah, speak your truth, mate.
But if you go to the British Museum and you go to the left-hand side when you walk in. It's the Egypt collection.
Yeah, it is.
And it's, man, look at all this amazing stuff from Egypt, these mummies. Oh, look, it's the Rosetta Stone.
That
It's
we
like,
stole.
oh, wait, yeah, we stole all this shit, and then we made it a law that we can't give it back.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love going to British museums and seeing all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic stuff to see, but it's also that sort of things like we did nick all of it. It's not ours. It's not ours to keep, but we're never going to give it back because we're selfish.
Because it gives us tourism.
Yeah. We're making money off the back of shit we stole.
But we should also... Do I know enough to talk on this topic? Should I do this or should I just... You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm not going to speak on this. I do not know enough to form a decent opinion about it. I will research it and come back to you guys.
No.
I think that's fair.
All right.
I mean, like, okay, the whole thing with history stuff, I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not a history professional. I don't work in a museum. Likewise, I'm not the most with all that stuff. But I totally agree with Luca's point that take these statues of these I describe them as monsters. I call them monuments to monsters.
Okay.
That's a fucking album name.
That's a great band name. Fuck off.
Yeah, it is.
Monuments to monsters.
Take these things down. Don't need to. I mean, preferably let's just melt. But put them in a museum.
Yeah.
Like a museum is a place where you take they're cultural hubs. It's where the culture of your nation and the world, if you go to a World History Museum, sits. Like Edward Colston is going to go into a museum in Bristol, and now this statue that was in the middle of a park in Bristol can be replaced with someone who did amazing stuff for Bristol and didn't sell slaves. Like,
yeah,
it's like
it's like first thing on the list. Did this guy sell slaves?
No. Okay.
Oh,
He's content.
It's not a very high barrier to entry. That's literally all you got to step over.
That's the issue. And people, personally, I don't understand why people are upset. It's like, listen, the bar is so low as to who we can put there instead.
Yeah.
It's literally not a slave trader. There you go.
Yeah.
Like
not a big old racist, just like, hey, did this person pay for a building? Yes. Are they a shitty person? No. Statue. Done.
Yeah. Let's rename Edward. I mean, I had a friend that went to university in Bristol, so this is why I know some of the stuff, because she's very passionate about it.
Cool.
And she was like, I hated going to university and going into a building that's named after a slave trader. As an Indian girl, she was like, I hated going to a building named after a slave trader. I'm like, this makes complete sense. Yeah. Why don't we name it under someone else from Bristol, like Shaun the Sheep?
Legend.
Or Wallace and Gromit. I don't know. They never did anything wrong. I mean, Gromit kind of was wrongly convicted for murder, but...
We're going down this route, the conspiracy theory.
Gromit's
did he actually do it?
He went to prison, though.
I'd love to have a dog statue, a Gromit statue in Bristol. I think that would be amazing.
Listen.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
The Paddington Bear statue did nothing wrong to anyone, which is why we have two.
Oh, fucking hell.
That's amazing.
Do we want to end this with a bit of levity? Like, we got 10, 15 minutes.
Yes. Raise me up. So
15 minutes. George, was there something else that we wanted to discuss today?
Oh, damn. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this to go this direction.
It feels a bit weird to do it like a bit of improv at the moment after this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No.
I guess something that I will say while you guys think up the next topic is on our other podcast, the gaming podcast, we did kind of
plug that.
Do a big old watch along with the PlayStation 5 reveal last week. If any of you are interested in our opinions on that, go check out our channel. I think also when this goes out, we'll have a new episode, probably kind of looking at it in hindsight, highlighting our like favorite bits and pieces. But if you want to see us just react like mental people to Miles Morales and me kind of lose my shit over Ratchet and Clank, go watch that big old 2.5 hour live video we put up.
Okay, I've thought of a topic.
Oh, actually, sorry.
Luca.
I should probably say what the channel name is. It's the bonus stage gaming show. Just search for that and you'll find it.
Nice one. I think we should finally give the people what they want. I feel like this episode has been a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Same.
So Luca, please tell me your most embarrassing puberty story.
Oh shit! Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
I think I told us this as a pre, like a ramble thing that we never actually made it into the episode a few weeks
I'm
back.
glad we didn't.
Well, it's going in now apparently. Thanks, George. George has
Yep.
asked me this. I don't want to put this out there, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so
I missed that. What did you say?
I don't really want to put this out there, but I'm putting it out there because George has
You don't
requested
need
it.
You don't. Okay,
to.
you don't have to.
No,
You
it's
don't
fine
have to.
because it's funny. So
Go for something
so-
less embarrassing.
Because okay, how about
No. Here we go.
What was
So-
your?
so-
Okay, all right.
Maybe use more delicate words than you did for the preamble.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try
which
and
is,
do.
Which is probably why you didn't put it in the preamble, because you were a little bit too honest.
Yeah, very honest. So, coming from a Greek-Italian background, the hair on my body, especially from the waist down, is, shall we say, dense.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
already.
Oddly, from the waist up, pretty neat. There's a little bit round the nips. Trim that away, all good. I have a little snail trail, but it's a cute little one. I'm happy with it. Waist
This is a
down.
lot of information, mate. Are you sure you want to say all this?
It's needed. It's context. So
okay. All right.
So once
This is
puberty hit, the
I'm
leg
giving
hair-
you the levity. You
Yeah.
can leave this if you want to.
no, it's cool. So when puberty hit, the leg hair really started sprouting, and because we had to wear like like crappy uniform trousers. They're just like this
Yeah.
polysynthetic shit. Because they were like polysynthetic, they weren't the tightest and like woven. So my leg hair, being as long as it was back then, kind of like poked through a little bit. So like it didn't poke through a lot. Thankfully, they were black trousers, so you couldn't really see it. But I could see it. I could notice it. And I remember like sitting there once and kind of like handing me things like, oh my god, my hair is actually poking through. A few years later, puberty properly hit in, and the other hair below the waist
Yeah,
around
okay.
the staff that
Okay, that's fine.
was poking
That's
through
fine.
as well.
Didn't need to say that.
That also poked through. It's because like, damn, this would be really embarrassing if people like saw this. So I thought, in my ingenious way, just as because I like recently started kind of shaving, had a bit of like little fluffy mustache that I decided to like actually start shaving. I thought, fuck it, yeah, let's get rid of it down there, like trim it down. It won't poke through. All is well with the world, especially when it comes to PE and you take off, and I don't want it poking through my boxes. Obviously, back then I didn't have like a body trimmer thing. Also, Sally, do you have your Manscaped review yet?
No, it's not. No, it's because it comes from the US. It's
Okay.
gonna take a while.
Okay, so
Hopefully next week.
well, hopefully we can
Manscaped
hear
review.
if this Manscaped device would have helped me in this situation. But here we go. So I didn't have something like that. What I did have was kitchen scissors. So
Oh my
yeah,
god!
well, like scissors in general. Like you don't really have many scissors at home. We just have kitchen scissors. So I got back from high school one day. It was a couple hours from my parents were getting home from work, so I decided to trim it down a little bit. Just snip. Obviously,
That's
yeah.
so dangerous.
Oh, I know. So it obviously was if you've over this quarantine tried to cut your own hair, you realize that it's very hard to get a nice even finish. So very patchy in places, and like
oh my god.
yeah. So maybe
too much.
me thinking, all right, you know what? Yeah, let's just take this down. It's short enough now that I could use like the face razor and kind of like get a nice neat finish. Because if you've seen the adult movies, there's not much hair down there in the male. So I thought that's how it should look, right? No. Because when it grows back, is it prickly? Is that itchy? Does it come through looking like you have a rash down there, like fucking eczema's just taken hold? No. So
Whoa.
I have never done that again because Jesus Christ, it was like there was literally a good few days kind of like, have I contracted something from the kitchen scissors that is kind of I was like,
Probably.
have I
Oh
just
my
created
God.
a new super virus that is kind of working its way through my hair? No, it was just ingrown hairs.
You know,
Don't do that, guys.
You know when
There's
I
the
was
puberty
like,
story.
let's talk about puberty stories. I didn't realize it would be that heavy as well. So I feel like this. I don't know how to feel about today.
That was meant to be a fun story, George.
I like how I said, you know what, use your words carefully, and you started off doing that, and then you just went in.
I thought I
Yeah.
picked my words perfectly there. I could have said way worse.
Yeah, I suppose. Knowing
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you could have.
I thought that.
Ugh.
Anyone else got a puberty story they want to share that's hopefully a bit more lighthearted than that, so
I
George
mean-
doesn't implode?
I don't think I've literally got one, to be honest.
Well,
I threw it out as a red herring, and if the shoe fits, Luca,
It
you've
fits.
got one, mate.
I don't.
it's much less of a problem nowadays, thankfully. But
Okay,
I'm
good.
just,
and
you know.
I'm gonna wait to see Hair Sully's Manscaped review before I dive into that.
Yeah,
boy.
man. I'm looking forward to receiving that.
I'm gonna have to send you a list of things that you're gonna need to try on. I'm afraid.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Although 15 quid every 3 months for a new razor
That's a lot.
for
Innit?
the Manscaped is steep.
That's a lot.
You don't need to do it, but it feels like it's steep.
Like-
but again, I don't have it
Like
yet.
I've never got a new razor for my beard trimmer.
Exactly. But maybe you should.
I mean, you can't swap out the razors. It's a bit like if you get one of the hair trimmers, you know, the your actual
Yeah.
head ones that the barbers use. It's not like blades to put on that fucking thing. It's just you clean it and you put a.
No, you could take it off.
I mean,
all of my beard trimmers, you can take the thing off.
well, apparently you have some very fancy beard trimmers.
Like I just got a Phillips one. You can take it off so you can deep clean it.
oh, I should look at mine.
You-
I should look at mine a bit more.
episode. I
Pull-
cannot.
I just wiggle it around in the
cannot-
sink in some water, and then it's like, hey, it's clean.
Always try and
Oh,
disinfect it.
I cannot
Yeah.
stress.
Soap or Dettol.
Put a bit of Carex hand wash, just like really slather it over, wiggle it around in the
That's
water.
actually
All good.
well, I mean that might make it rusty.
I mean, so far so good. I've had it for a
Oh,
couple of years.
Okay,
I'd say use Dettol.
Dettol.
maybe. Yeah, I could go for that. Yeah.
George,
Yeah.
is this Yu-Gi-Oh all over again?
We're talking about beard trimmers now. It's
George,
not
you
that
have a
bad.
beard. You must have an opinion on
I
this.
do have a beard, and it's getting better and bigger. But I hate my mustache. But this isn't the point anymore. I don't know how to feel about this episode. It was good that everything was said.
Yeah.
Good that everything was said.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
how I feel.
Wait,
When I send this to people to listen to, I'll say, "Hey, don't listen to the last 10 minutes."
sorry, am I the only one sharing now?
Yeah,
well,
mate,
like
that was a dupe, mate.
I genuinely don't have an embarrassing puberty story because I was a loser and I didn't speak to people very
That
much.
sounds like a great story. Tell that. I'm kidding.
I was a
I'm
loser,
kidding.
didn't speak to people very much.
I mean, there must be some embarrassing, if it's not to do with puberty, but from
You know what?
that era.
I will be as open and honest as I can in this moment.
Please do.
Thank you for listening to this.
You dick.
I'm joking. No, like, a lot of people, they kind of teach you about puberty and stuff in schools.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think I may have been the only person that was like, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people get worried about it. A lot of people like, hair's going to grow and all this sort of stuff. And I don't know how to feel about certain things. And my voice is going to drop and all this sort of things. For me, that was never a concern. I was never
Yeah.
worried about that.
Yeah.
I just felt like it, it was gonna, I don't even know if I thought it was just gonna happen. I just feel like, oh, my voice is low now.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, I can still sing though. Great. Okay.
I mean,
it wasn't that deep. It wasn't
No,
that deep for me.
I think for the most part, I was saying like the story I told was the only thing that's kind of like, was a bit of a surprise to me. It was kind of like, oh, that's excessive down there. I mean, because like because like my dad has always had like some form of stubble. Like he would literally clean shave, and then you'd wake up the next morning and you could visibly see stubble. So from my point of view, it's kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna worry about my facial hair. It will be there. It will be something I'd have to deal with. Just I don't give a shit. Like head of hair, while my hair lasts, it's great. I'm sure thanks to my mum's side of the family, once I hit 40, it'll fall out like a fucking sack of bricks, and then I'll have to be
Nice.
bald. But
Amazing. Can't wait for that.
yeah, I can't fucking wait for that. But it's those sort of things. Like nothing really worried me like when it came to puberty. Like there was lots of people that were like, "Oh, am I ever going to kiss someone? Am I ever going to lose virginity?" And you're like, "Fuck yeah! Look at the world out there. How many mental people there are. Someone's going to say yes to you one day. Don't worry about it, mate."
7 billion people. Someone will say, "Okay, well." Yeah.
One like a podcast that I listened to, I mean, years back, said something about like, don't worry about what you're into. If you like fucking in a Mickey Mouse outfit, you'll find a Minnie Mouse one day. It's like, it's pretty fair.
I mean,
That's called a furry.
Exactly. And it's one of those things like,
You know what? Also,
I'm fine annoying
I
them.
forgot. I want to say massive shout out
Furry
to the
community?
K-pop community.
Oh, okay, yeah, go on then.
shout out to the K. I don't know why I connected furries and K-pop. They're very different.
I mean, are they?
I respect the K-pop community now.
You don't respect the furry community.
You guys have yet to prove yourselves to me.
Are they one above doggers for you? It's like doggers, furries.
You know what?
Confused.
What's going on today?
I don't know what he's saying. I'm talking about K-pop. Shout out to K-pop. One,
the whole genre.
No, yeah, just the one person called K-pop.
They defeated racists on Twitter and Instagram. Two, the BTS fans raised over $1 million.
Shit.
To match BTS.
Damn.
And John Cena, who's a BTS army, I've heard they're called. John Cena also matched their donation.
Nice.
John Cena's a legend.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just gonna money done.
Yeah, I feel like John Cena's got the money. It's kind of like, fuck yeah, that's a good thing to do. Here's some money for it.
and then he'll occasionally tweet like a poignant tweet.
And then
like,
chokeslam someone.
Get like 1 million likes on it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like,
Legend.
I'm not married yet.
Is he not? I thought didn't he have like a reality show that he was like living with?
He was on Total Bellas. He was gonna marry Nikki Bella.
Okay.
But 100% you could tell that wasn't real.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Oh.
Well, it felt like it just, I don't know. I think it's because John Cena doesn't have emotions.
Yeah. A little.
Or he doesn't put himself across as a guy with emotions.
There is some roboticness that you do get from John Cena. I like him, but there is like this.
Yeah, it's like,
if he wasn't such good a wrestler, he probably would keep skin suits in his basement kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like, I wake up every morning at 7 a.m. I go downstairs. I look at, I read the newspaper. I answer my emails. I work out for 3 hours. I then go out, go to a call. Whilst I'm driving, I'm learning Mandarin. After doing that, I continue to drive.
I really don't
and
know.
then I will sometimes work out some more. Go and do media stuff. I then will go and do my acting. At 7 p.m., I will phone my mother.
On this.
I will speak to Nicole. I'll put my phone down and enjoy a nice meal.
Yeah. Okay.
No shoes are allowed inside my house.
Sometimes
I then go to bed early.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's like before I go to bed, I look at a flower. No emotion still, but one day emotion.
Okay, yeah.
I never set an alarm. I only wake up to the sun. He said that in his Variety thing, or was it Vogue or Variety?
My internal body clock I have set, and it will never leave. It will never change because I am a robot. I mean, I love the guy. He seems such a down to earth dude, but there is something about him that at least The Rock, you can tell has some emotion. With John Cena, kind of like. It's like it came out of Westworld. It's like,
yeah.
And on that glorious note,
make sure you watch Dave Chappelle's.
Yes.
846. If you take away anything from this, God knows what this episode was. I don't know how I'm going to title this.
Dave Chappelle and Cubes. Probably don't use that one.
Yeah. Please go and listen to the Dave Chappelle 846.
Yeah, it's on the Netflix main kind of YouTube channel. It's just there to watch. I don't think it's region locked either, so
why is it called Netflix as a joke?
No, Netflix as a joke is like another thing. This is just
a fan account.
No, it's a Netflix account. That's where I saw it.
I believe it started as a fan account and then it became a one. I saw it on the main Netflix channel. There's also another person that's kind of you could see an hour later kind of copied it and re-uploaded it and got fuck all views, but don't do that, guys. Jesus.
Because for me, Netflix as a joke had a tick.
I think Netflix is a joke is now a real account.
It's just Netflix is just comedy stuff.
Yeah. And it's just clips from comedy.
Okay, that was just the first one that came up. So that's why.
But yeah, it should be easy enough to find. Just fuck it, put it into Google, it'll come up.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you all for listening to this episode. If you got to the end, fucking fair play.
I didn't gross for that too much.
But
comment potatoes. I don't know.
But yes, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, any kind of great podcasting service. You can find us on radiohaver.com every Tuesday at around 6 p.m. And you can find us on slapduck.com. You know, there's so many things I always forget about. We're in so many avenues. Sully, I've got to thank you for that.
You know what's great about it is Sully definitely puts this in every single description, right?
What?
All these details, yeah.
Yeah, I just I've got it on a notes thing. I just copy and paste it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, easy.
I mean, it's efficient.
Also, go to slapduckandersonshelter.com
Oh, fucking hell.
to just look at a website I bought to have a picture of an Anderson shelter.
That's such a flex as well.
I know. I bought a website. There's nothing on the website. It's just a picture of a thing that I did on the website.
Yeah.
Nice. But yes, thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a lovely evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, that bye fucking hit my ear wrong.
That's Lucas' fault.
Found the perfect pitch.